Testing. Sing what? Broadcasting to you live from his studio in New Jersey, originally from the great city of Toronto.
Welcome to another edition of the DJ Staples 93 Roundtable, live on Twitch with your host, DJ Staples 93.
Also featuring Juno Award winner and superstar, Simone Denny, Impressions DJ, Dan, and DJ George Andrew.
Ladies and gentlemen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, live on Twitch. DJ Staples 93 Roundtable.
Every day is like Halloween, Danny boy.
I mean, when I have to look at that face of yours,
Yeah, it's so scary, isn't it, though?
Very scary.
Good to see you, my friend. Happy Monday. Happy almost Halloween. How are you?
It's almost Halloween. Looking forward to it.
It's Halloween week. Halloween will be this Thursday. A lot of places, local establishments were celebrating Halloween over the weekend. That kind of annoyed me a little bit. Like,
yeah, did it really? See, I was going to say though, but it's got the official start to Halloween must have been like Friday night kind of thing, which maybe it was a little too early, right?
Little bit too early. Yeah, a little bit. Real quick, happy Monday once again. It is Monday, October the 28th. We're a few days away from Halloween. Hence our song at the beginning, Every Day is Halloween by Minstrel. Nice little clip there of Dave Navarro not hitting his lead singer in that video. So that's cool. If you're a Jane's Addiction fan, you'll understand the reference. I want to shout out the folks in the chat real quick, if we may. Of course, we got our moderator extraordinaire, Love Buddy, in the chat. Good to see you. Mike Harding is here watching, ladies and gentlemen. Good old DJ Mike Harding.
Which is amazing, too, because I literally, just before the show started, I just saw the pumpkins that he carved. And
yes, I was looking at his TikTok. Yeah. If you don't follow DJ Mike on TikTok and Instagram, you should do so. Shout out to Mike. Boardroom Babes, his other half, is here hanging out. Mary, quite contrary, is lurking in the background. Lucky Lashes is hanging out with us. And of course, we got a new follower, Butterfly13. K-Man's in the back. He's gonna be here in a little while as well. DJ Skinner's in the house. DJ George Andrew, of course, he'll be back showing his backside later on. But without further ado, it's good to see everybody. It's appreciate y'all being here on another lovely Monday night edition of the Roundtable. Let's talk about let's bring in our guest, Danny boy. I mean, this guy. DJ producer extraordinaire. He's opened up for the likes of Run DMC, Destiny's Child, who else? Oh, Total, Busta Rhymes, CeCe Peniston, Tamia. Did I say that right? Tamia? You know what song? Tamia. Sorry, it's my Canadian/American accent there. So many great people. Funkmaster Flex. I mean, the Jungle Brothers, and the list goes on. And he's a good Canadian. And I know he was traveling over the weekend doing gigs. So let's bring him in. He's a media. What's the proper term? He's a superstar. Speaking of which, our superstar Simone Denny is not here this evening. Obviously, it's just Dan and I. Again, work engagements causing her to not being able to be here. But we love her, we miss her, and we'll get her back sooner than later. But yeah, speaking of superstars, our guest here, the man of the hour, that's here.
And you missed one more thing. And he is now a subscriber to your channel too.
Yes. Oh, did he? See, that's why he's such a good guy. Follow him on his socials, and we'll talk about all that. He's got some great social media things going on out there if you don't follow him already. But ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Toronto, Canada's own. Give it up. DJ Baba Khan in the house. What's up, man?
Gentlemen,
welcome.
How are you?
We are great.
I love the superstar tagline. That was wonderful. I wasn't expecting that, but I'll take it.
Yeah, of course. You're a superstar. I mean, come on, you know. I see your Instagram. You're traveling, you're flying places in fancy planes, doing gigs all over the place. You're a superstar.
That's just knowing the right person. That's
right. Yeah. Whatever it takes.
Yeah, that's it. That's literally, I always say someone goes, hey, are you doing festivals? No, I'm doing corporate gigs, buddy. And that's how I'm getting on the private plane. It's not festivals, but yeah, that's what it's all about.
Meanwhile, Dan's on the 401 and I'm on the Jersey Turnpike. So there you have it. There you go. Whatever it takes to get to the gig, to do the gig, right?
Yeah, there you go.
In the gardener.
They're not always. Oh God, let's not talk about the gardener.
Yeah. That's right.
It's another story altogether.
Yeah, man. The folks in the chat are lit up. DJ Ritz says big up Baba Khan and Culture Shock. Mike Harding says legend, and of course Ritz legend as well. So yeah, man, everybody's here hanging out. Happy to see you. So we're happy to have you here. How was your weekend? Where were you? What were you doing?
I was doing literally. I travel. I do work with a couple of banking gentlemen, and I do their private events. So you'll see me go places a lot, you know, and I'll be going to exclusive places where they're entertaining friends and other partners from around the world, other quote unquote millionaires. I say that because some of them are and some of them aren't, but so I just do their private parties, and that's why some people are like, oh, once in a while I'll show a party, and sometimes I won't because it's not meant to be shown. It's not a party, so don't think about that. But it's a private.
Yeah.
When you say like banking, the first person that pops in my mind, like, are we talking like the likes of like Kevin O'Leary type?
Well, yeah. You know what, Dan? Very well. That's not exactly who, but exactly that type of individual. Yes, excellent. That's exactly what it is. You're right on the money with that one. Amazing. Like hit the nail right on the head with that sucker.
Crazy, really cool.
Very nice. So Baba Khan, let's go back a little bit. You started DJing at what age?
Oh. Okay, see, that's a tough one. Staples, because So I started DJing when I started getting into it when I was 15.
Right.
But got my first gig when I was, I would say 17, 18, around that time. And then haven't stopped since. I just celebrated my 30-year anniversary this year.
Happy anniversary.
Wow.
Very
Thank
nice.
you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And what was it that made you say to yourself one day, like, I want to give this a shot. I want to try it out.
You know what? Growing up South Asian in Toronto, it was a little hard for us. Parents are a little bit more strict. The upbringing was a little different. I know a lot of my Canadian friends were like, "What do you mean you can't go out?" Like, I can't go out, dude. I just can't. Want me to get beat down? They're like, "What's gonna do?" I said, "Listen, my mom's slipper will find me from her house to your house, even though it's down the block. That shit will fly and boom, knock me in the head, and she'll find me." And so, what it was is, because South Asian demographic and the families that moved here, they weren't really comfortable with their kids going out at night. So they did these things called day parties. Now, day parties are quite the thing now. So I like to think South Asians were the inventors of day parties because that's what we did. And we did it during school time. So while you were in school, so your parents wouldn't know, or no one would know, you would skip school or figure out a way to get a class, and we would go and do a party. So that's what happened. I ended up going to a lot of these things, as much as I love to get an education, the music was calling, fellas. So I went, and I was literally, I can remember exactly where I was sitting. I was, I think 16 at the time, 15, 16. I remember because I was getting into it, and I was looking up directly, and I was like, oh my God, I want to be him. Like, it was just instant. It was like, just it hit me right away. I'm like, I want to be that person. The way he's controlling the night, the way he's controlling the crowd. He just had a control, like that instant control of the energy, the feeling. He controlled it all 1,000 people. I'm like, that's what I want to do. And I was sold.
Nice.
And what kind of music did you get to listen to growing up? What were you influenced by?
Honestly, I'm everything. I mean, I grew up listening to like hip hop, new wave, 80s, like rock, like you name it. There's nothing freestyle. There's nothing I didn't grow up to. And I think I grew up in a place where there was so much, especially in the 90s. There was like, you had like rock, and then you had like some wicked hip hop, and then you had like Phil Collins. Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So
One more night.
You have all these things going on. And I always say, I mean, it's going to be biased because I'll say we had the best music then. And there's so much going on. Obviously, it's going to be biased because we're older and everyone says that about their generation, their era. But that was it. I mean, I love all of it. And this is going to come out maybe a little, not, I guess a little harsh, but it's not meant to be harsh. Growing up South Asian in Toronto, and there was not a lot of South Asians growing up. So my parents would obviously be listening to a lot of indie music at home. My mom and dad were like, they were always blaring music. So they were always like fun when it came to music and stuff like that. But so they were always into that. So I didn't exactly, you couldn't play that, right? It wasn't like you couldn't, I mean, not that I hit it, but it wasn't, something that people were always like, oh my God, this is great. But I really gravitated into hip hop. So my first love will always be like hip hop. That's it.
Right.
I remember going across the border and bringing like Ice-T Power and like 2 Live Crew, and my mom's like, what son? What?
Right. What is this?
What is the tape? She'd look at the tape and she's like, what is the woman doing with the gun?
Right. Yeah.
Thing. And I was just like, don't worry, Mom, it's all good. Yeah. So that's where I gravitated to.
That's fantastic.
Nice.
And then, so you started off doing the DJ thing, and tell us a little bit about your radio career, how you got into that. Again, was that knowing the right people, or was it something
you know what, Staples, that was funny because I went to I wanted to get into Ryerson down here. It has a great broadcasting program. So I was lucky enough, the way it kind of happened for me, I was working at a complete, and I say this because some people, I was working at like when I'm saying dive bar, this thing was a dive bar, right? Like 4 drunks in the corner, a couple of, junkies and then some hookers, right? Back in the day, like, you know what I mean? But
sounds like a Sunday at Mike Harding's house, but go ahead.
That is right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Mike would. So, I mean, that's kind of what I was DJing. And I remember gentleman kind of passed by at the time. This guy Daryl, he's like, "Oh yeah, you really like your hip hop?" I said, "Yeah," and I wasn't. Nobody, I'll be honest, nobody cared what I was doing, what I was playing. I could have been playing. I could play Satanic Verses, and no one would have given a shit of what I was playing at the time at that place. Yeah. But I remember someone kind of found me. He's like, "You're really, really good. You know, would you? I'm going to start doing a live to air." And I'm like, "What is a live to air?"
I'm sure.
And he's like, "It's with 93.7 WBLK." I'm like, "Oh, that's where's that station?" And he's like, "In Buffalo." I'm like, "No, I can't go to Buffalo. I live here. I can't do that. What are you talking about? My mom would kill me." Right. And then he's like, no, you do it here. It took him about a couple of days to explain it to me until I finally figured it out. And he's like, "But we're going to be doing hip hop and we're going to be doing this." And I was like, I'm like, sold. And then he told me, "You even got paid for this." I'm like, "Sorry, stop, hold on. I get to go live to air. I get to DJ. I get to play hip hop and I get paid? No, get out of here. Get out of Dodge." Right. And so that was it. That's kind of what kind of set me up for radio. And then how I got onto other radio stations is I actually went to school at Humber for radio broadcasting. And I remember applying and going to different radio stations. And I remember this to this day, the teacher, and I was like, "Hey, this is my demo. Do you think, I could get on radio?" And they're like, "Yeah, no, it's going to take you some while. You're really unpolished. It's not really good." And that's fine. That's constructive criticism. They're teachers, right? So they're going to do that. Yeah. And then they're like, so I'm like, "Oh yeah, I've got my first interview and I'm going to do it." And they're like, "Yeah." They're like, "Listen, sometimes people have to end up going to like Sudbury or Nova Scotia. There's nothing wrong with it, but you have to go further away." And then, I came back. I'm like, "Hey, guess what? I got the job." Right. And then he was kind of like, "What?" I don't remember. Like, he's like, "What? How?" And I was like, "You know what? I don't know, but I got it." Anyways, so long story short, that's kind of how the radio thing started. And then I kind of worked from there. And then, radio, I don't know, we can speak about radio today, is a completely different story, but radio back then, radio back then was pretty much everything.
Now, so you worked at what, WBLK? What are some of the other states? Was AM 530 one?
Yeah, we did. That's the one that. Do you remember? Remember 680 CFTR? Remember?
Right.
Yeah. You guys remember that, right?
Yep.
What was it? CFT? No, was it? What was it called? 680 CFTR, wasn't it?
It was 680. Was It was CFTR.
Yeah, CFTR. And who? It was it. Tiger Dan.
Tarzan Dan.
Sorry.
Tarzan Dan. There you go.
Yeah, Tarzan Dan. So it was a computer, and it was an urban station that was competing and it was an urban station, Flavor Street, I think it was called. So I worked on there. Then I kind of did some stint on BOK for a bit, did stuff like that there, and then I think years later, I did a lot of background work in different stations like Mix and stuff like that. Back in the day, Virgin, and then what's it called? And then I did it. Then finally, I think after about 8 years, we got Flow 93.5. I think about 10 years in, it finally came, and I just did live to air there. I wasn't really on air there, but I did live to air work on there.
Okay,
nice.
Now, TV, did you do some TV as well, right? For BET?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it was very cool. I've done BT. I mean, I've done a lot of TV. I mean, not just necessarily, I mean, it depends on what part of the career you're talking about, but like later on in my career, I opened up a DJ school here. It's called Scratch Lab. So, and so I did a lot of stuff, advertising Scratch Lab. So I was on TV and news, and I was doing breakfast television a lot. Very cool. Too damn early in the morning. I don't know how those guys do it. I don't know. Honestly, I don't like. It's one thing to get home at 5 o'clock in the morning, but it's another thing to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Whole different, it's a whole different.
It's a whole different ball game, right? So getting up at 5, I was just like, this, someone's like, "Wouldn't you love this on a regular a gig?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" I like getting home is fine, but getting up, but I mean, it was cool. We did that, and then I did a lot of work in the States when I was doing with my band Culture Shock that I did years later. I've done so many things, so there's so many different things. So yeah, I was doing a lot of TV work at that time as well.
Nice.
Oh, did we just? I was reading some information in previous interviews you've done, and what happened?
Oh, you froze for a second there.
Yeah,
you froze for a second.
I thought you froze too for a second.
Sorry. What was I going to ask? Yeah, so one of the previous interviews I read that you had done, they had asked you what's something you hadn't done, and you said you hadn't done anything. And I was like, that you were looking to do, and you had said something about putting out an album.
Yeah.
Has that happened?
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay,
you know what's funny? There's a chunk. Ritz is Ritz, I think, is Ritz still in the chat? Yep. Ritz knows this. Hey, KK, what's up? Sorry. I'm just
shout out.
Yeah, shout out. Oh, there's Drew. So for a long time, like, and I'll say this, and some people will take this personally, some people won't, but you know, it is what it is. I've always said you can be a big DJ in your community, in your city, but I think the buck stops there, and there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want to accomplish. And I did that for a long time because I was very successful in Toronto with the clubs and nightclubs, and I did them all, and it was doing events, and you know, I can talk about all the artists and different events I did, but I did so much of that. But I realized that there's a ceiling to it, right? But then you take a second and you look back at what takes a DJ to another level. It's great as having a following. That's great. But if that following is just local, it's going to eventually stop. So you look at someone like Chris Shepherd back in the day, you know, when he was putting out his albums and making music. Obviously, you guys know what's going on there. So that was the evolution. And so what had happened is, as I grew along as a DJ, it went from being very urban. And I don't mean to keep playing the race card here, but it was different for me growing up, being Indian and getting into the urban world. You know, I was doing a lot of hip hop stuff, and that wasn't exactly very common at the time. So I remember we were doing the live to air, and then this guy tapped me on the shoulder. He's like, "There's like 800 people here." I said, "Yeah, this is wicked. This is amazing." He's like 600 of them are like Indian. I was like, "Oh, I didn't think about it." Right. And then he's like, and it's not that that was it, but he's like, "I've never seen this before." Right. So the emergence of Indians and South Asians and other nationalities going to a hip hop party was definitely happening. But the multiculturalism in Toronto was huge, right? When we were but that was happening, right? So while that was happening, I was kind of learning about the dynamic of my city and learning the dynamic of your background. And so over time, and we're going back after 15, 20 years, you know, a couple of labels are like, "Hey, you've got such a huge base." They're like, "Do you want to make music?" And I was like, "Yeah, hell yeah, I want to make music." But the difference is, we know, I mean, when someone told me to make music and make a mix CD, I was like, first of all, we were into the, you know, people burning CDs now. Remember that phase?
Right.
No, we've gone through a lot of phases with music, eh?
For sure.
Just off topic, I'm going to say this. We've gone from 8 tracks, because I remember having 8-track players in my mom's car, my parents' car, to vinyl, to tape decks, to CDs, to MP3s. Right now, to streaming. So we've gone the gamut when it comes to music, right? So when it comes to music, we've gone through all the gamut. So if anyone says anything to me musically, I'll just slap them, because I'm like, "Listen, kid, you're streaming right now, okay? Right. The rest of you, I had to keep flipping it. I had to keep moving with the times. You guys are just sitting here with one thing only and streaming and stuff like that. You have no idea how difficult it was to get a song, pick a song, even get music. Like I said, they have no clue, right? And even when you explain it to them, they just look at you like you're like, "Yeah, whatever, old guy. You know, go back to your car and use your feet to go Flintstone. Get out of here."
Exactly.
But you know what I find interesting with that though is when you look at the length of time, MP3s I think was actually maybe around for a longer part of that before the streaming came in. So I think it was like streaming had to come in at some point. Otherwise, what else would be the next? And it's going to be interesting to see in the future what is going to come after streaming. What is the next thing?
You know, it's so funny, Dan, because I was with these banking gentlemen, and they're like, "Yo, your stuff is amazing. You need to send me a playlist." I'm like, "Well," I said to them, "What do you mean a play?" Like I said, "You want me to put something on Spotify for you?" They're like, I said, "I don't." They're like, "Yeah, how do you you get your songs from Spotify?" I said, "No." They couldn't comprehend it. They didn't get it. And I was like, so I'm like, "I understand what you want, but it's not a playlist, gentlemen, right? It's my MP3s, it's my mixes, it's different things I get from like pools." And they're like, "Dude, stop making it complicated. Just get a playlist." I'm like, "No. That's not how it works." But it took, I'm telling you, over a couple of tequilas with these guys, just explaining that to them, I was like, "Okay, we're done, boys. That's it. I can't do this conversation with you anymore." And they still, to this day, the other day, they're like, "Are you going to send me that playlist?" I'm like, "Oh, forget it. I'm not even getting into this conversation with you." Anyways, I do that. I jumped. I went
just
off
not
topic.
can understand.
Yeah. So I went off topic. So anyways, musically, that's what kind of happened. And
good.
Yeah. They said to me, "Hey," and I said, "Listen, I'm a business guy, but like I said, there's a lot of reasons why I went into the club business, and we can get into that in a little bit. But I knew there was a business, and I knew there was a clientele that wasn't being reached. And I said, can I create my own music? Can I make my own music and get out there? And they're like, yeah, but we want a mix CD. I said, great, you can have a mix CD, but I want to make my own songs. Right. And that's what I did. So I combined a bit of what I know hip hop wise, another artist, and then another Indian artist, and I fused it all. And then kind of made this group called Culture Shock, which was funny because I had kind of stopped doing the club scene in Toronto for a while. And everyone's like, oh my God, he fell off. But I was touring the world, and it was phenomenal. Like I signed a record deal in the UK, massive deal in the UK with Amy Winehouse's team at the time. So it was a big deal, massive. Like, I mean, I hate to say it, but it taught me so much about, and it's not that Toronto's small, but the population is small, right? It's not that it's not a good city, right? Canadian music is obviously, it's up there, but it really, in the grand scheme of things, it's on lower on the list. You've got the States, you've got Europe, you've got China, you've got so many other places that where music really picks up. And I remember booking artists sometimes, and I'd say, hey, why don't you come to Toronto? And they're like, yo, dude, I'd be like, let's make a deal. And they would cost me a fortune. I'd be like, why? Like, Toronto's so big, but when you break it down musically, it's not to them, because there's such a small percentage of their sales are there, right? They're not concerned. Right. So I know it doesn't sound like I'm being, pro-Canadian. I am, but like even the record deal, and like when I got the deal in the UK, I came back to Canada, and the deal was so like, we can give you this much, but we can give you this much in grants. Right. Yeah. Where the UK is like, we're going to give you this much, and then we're going to give you this much in grants. Right. Yeah. And, and then I realized at that point, as my career as a DJ, it changed. I'm going to tell you, it changed when I produced and I went worldwide, and I started doing remixes for Lady Gaga, Rihanna, Sean Paul, and these are official remixes, like Britney Spears, where the label's behind it. I'm getting paid big chunks of money. You're doing all this stuff. Like, these artists are going on tour and performing your songs, and you're getting royalties from like TV stuff and everything. So it was a completely different ball game. So when someone's like, you're not doing anything in Toronto, I'm like, dude, really? Are we having this conversation right now?
Right,
like, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
But it sounds like you're being arrogant. You just learn that, it's bigger than this. And
that's the thing, is once you get to that point where you're past Toronto, you're past Canada, you can't go back just to do, just for that.
Yeah, you're right, Dan. And that's kind of that's what it was. And I kind of, so it was, like I said, it was a learning experience, but it really catapulted my vision of what a DJ is and who a DJ can be. So I learned very early, at a very early age, how social media was being done. Like, I mean, my band, before people were buying views, I'm getting like 1 million, 2 million views on YouTube like 10 years ago, 12 years ago. I mean, now that's a regular thing, but without any real hype, we were getting that, right? Hence why I got the record deal, right? But but anyways, I digress. And I mean, that's kind of how it worked when it came to production and stuff like that. So I always say to a DJ to this day, when people are like, yo, I want to be big, I'm like, okay, well, you can scratch blindfolded, you can lay there naked and put cake on you and DJ, but at the end of the day, you can throw a cake, but if you don't produce, if you're not producing something, if something's not playing your music, you're never going to get to that next level. And listen, there's always someone who's going to break the rule. Very rarely, but I said, if you really want to catapult yourself, it has to be production and making your own music.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of times on this show I have mentioned before, because there's I've said it before, there's a difference between a DJ and a DJ producer. And it all depends. And the way that you just explained it is absolutely perfect. It depends on what the person wants to do with their career. Personally, myself, I've never looked at the producing side of it. I don't want to. That's just not my thing, kind of thing. But that's just what I want to do. So it all depends on what the person wants to do with their career and with the whole.
But I'll tell you, Dan, I was kind of there with you, and then I mean, the thing is, for me, like, you're just doing parties and you're meeting artists and you're working with so many different people. I'm like, let's take my contacts to another level and say, hey, Sean Kingston. Well, we both know where he's in right now, but let's bad choice. But I'm like, I'm saying, or like, Sean Paul or different guys. Why don't you come on a song with me?
Yeah.
Right. You know, I remember one of my songs, it's called Tonight, and it was the first single we released. And I remember at the time I was running a school called Scratch Lab. And at the time, Junior Flo was one of the teachers I had brought there. Great DJ. He also was the DJ for Drake at the time. And they were kind of rehearsing at the back. And then I had this single. I'm like, oh, I want to put a hip hop artist. And Junior Flo was like, let me put Drake on it. Yeah. Right. And this is at the same time, like Drake, you know, I knew Drake, but he was up and coming. And then, but this is the same time when Cardinal had busted with Dangerous, where, you know, that was like a massive single when he signed with Akon. Yep. So I'm like, I'm going to try and get Cardi. Right. But there's nothing wrong with it. I ended up, then he's like, no, Drake will do it. And all of a sudden it would turn into, no, it's okay. I'll get Cardi. Right. Yeah. And now hindsight is 2020. You're like, oh, that may have, you know, been a better choice maybe as you're looking at it now years later, but the track did blow up for me. But it's funny because it didn't blow up in Canada. Like there was no love, right? There's no love. And it's just and the label, and it's funny because it was just on the mix. And I remember they're like, yeah, this didn't work, and no one was playing for. Yes, I got some DJ friends to play it for me, but it's just all of a sudden started kicking up in the States, and in the UK. And I was just like, hold on. I'm like, hold on, how did that go from like 4,000 views to like 400,000 views? What's going on here? Right. Because you're hitting I'm just thinking of Toronto. You're like, right. You know what I mean? You're like, that's the mind. And that's what opened my doors. I was like, oh my goodness. Like, forget it, man.
I'm laughing because those guys who would say, how come you don't think of Toronto? You did think of Toronto. It just kind of went beyond that.
Yeah. It went beyond that.
Exactly. Expanded a little bit.
Yeah. I went beyond that. What is this? What is Peter and Greg? What are they yapping about? What are Ritz?
It's funny. There's a whole other conversation going on in our chat. Other conversation.
I got to ask this too. Sorry, go ahead, Staples. But I have a question I want to ask. But go ahead.
Okay. There's a question in our chat, and I want to remind the folks in the chat, if you do have any questions that you want to ask Bubba, just pop it in, and we'll try our best to highlight it and put it on the screen.
Yeah.
Our good friend Sarah was asking if you haven't who haven't you worked with, and who would you want to if you had to list just one.
Oh, just one. You know, I'm going to say this because back in the day, I was a super fan of his, and I still want to work with him. But when I met him, he was such an absolute dick. You know, remember Ryan Leslie? I know maybe remember Ryan Leslie, producer, R&B guy. Do you guys remember him? He's not like the biggest person in the world.
I don't, unfortunately.
Okay, yeah. Well, you know what? I think
he's a dick.
Yeah, he's a dick. Yeah, why would you? But I remember bringing him down for an event. I just something about his beats, like I'm like that producer part of me. I was like, it was dope as hell. But if you want to go with a big artist, like someone that I think is someone that I would really like to work with on a big, grander scale, I probably have to say this is going to come out of completely left field, and you're going to be like, he's nowhere on this list of things. But John Mayer, don't ask me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I'm a fan. I get the John Mayer appeal.
Yeah, I just the melodies, guys, the riffs.
Yeah,
just come on now. Like, yeah.
I've always said that John Mayer, in my opinion, and who am I, but he's an underrated guitarist. He's phenomenal. Phenomenal. Funny guy.
Do you think he's underrated? I
think
absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think, like, when you think in the world of guitarists, all right, we got you got your Eddie Van Halen, you got all these guys, but he's up there, man. Like, he's doing the Dead and Co tours, he's doing his own thing, but I've seen him perform live, and he's more than just what you hear on the radio. And that's
I've seen him perform several times. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I was like, I would love. I mean, it didn't obviously, you know, it's completely different, but that's the point I'm making, because growing up in the 90s, you become eclectic. I can play, you know, kind of everything, right? And I think and it's not that I can play it all well, not that I'm like, oh my god, all of a sudden I'm this master of Greek music now, and then everyone's gonna be like, hey, let's do this. It's just that you learn to play it all and learn to understand, you learn to appreciate it all, right? And that's kind of what I'm most proud of when I look back at my career. It's just like understanding, because when I meet different people and I meet other DJs, and I'm just amazed at how they they can't play other things.
Yeah.
But I always say to them, and I've said this from day one, if you as a DJ can learn the fundamentals of music, the understanding the basics and structure of a song, just production does help that way. But if you understand, like, most songs, they kind of run the same gamut, chorus, verse, hook, all that stuff, right? There's kind of that ideal way. But if you understand that element when it comes to music in general, you'll be able to play all sorts of music, even if you don't get the vibe or the energy of it, you'll at least be able to flow with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's a lost art that a lot of DJs are just like, oh, this is not in key, or this is not this. I'm like, oh God, shut up. But you know what I mean? It is
I got you. I got you. We're talking about the questions in the chat, and I know this isn't a serious, maybe it is a serious question, but I'm gonna it's gotta be. Look, I'm gonna put it up anyway. So there you go. Pete wants to know what color underwear you're wearing. There you go.
Pete, joke's on you. I'm not wearing any underwear.
There you go.
Yeah.
In your face. In your
there
face.
you go, buddy. I bet you want it in your face, don't you, Pete? Okay.
There you go. Nailed it. Nailed it. So let's talk about your social media, right? How is in terms of social media, do you think that being more active and involved with social media has changed how a person like yourself DJs today? Because you need to know social media, you need to know, and obviously you post great content, so that's obviously a big part of it, right? Don't post shit, make sure that it's good content.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on the whole social media aspect of the DJ world now?
Okay, so if Drew or Ritz was next to me, they'd say, Bubba, don't do it, Bubba, don't be real. Don't be real. Don't do it.
Don't say it, dickhead. Don't say it. I'm not saying you are. I'm just quoting.
Bubba.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you, social media is a complete bitch, isn't it?
It is. It
is so full of shit. It's like if someone said to you, hey, I have an idea. Yeah. I want you to every day do something, work at something, do it for free. Okay. Work at it every day, post something, do it for free. And guess what? Guess what, sir? There's a little chance you're going to get paid. You'd be like, get out of here. Yeah. But technically, that's kind of what we're doing, no? Like, that's pretty much what it is. And so I'll tell you this, like, listen, I Staples, it's such an interesting game, right? And like, people are like, oh, you're doing really well with it. It's doing well is great, but it's just consistently doing it, right? It's consistently doing it. And I think that's the thing I tell people, like, and in the grand scheme of things, it's great, I guess, but it's so small when you look at other things that are going on. I'm not trying to downplay anything, right? I don't mean it that way. That's what they always call me, Mr. Negative. But what I'm saying is it's such a tough, you really have to understand the audience. I learned to understand my algorithms. I learned to understand what they're all about, what they're looking, what they don't like. I can tell you right now, guys, my top 6 mashups on Instagram are probably, out of 4 of them, are probably 4 of the ones that I thought were the shittiest mashups I've ever done.
Really?
Hands down.
Which ones are those? Which ones are they?
Like, I'll tell you right now, my big, huge popular one is the one I did with Whitney Houston and Jerusalem, whatever that track is. Huge, massive for me. I was just like, I whipped it up. It's just a tip. It's just, to me, it was like, it just literally whipped it up. Right. I remember I did it because Whitney Houston was coming out with her movie. And I was like, oh, let me get on the algorithm bandwagon and try and get onto the Whitney Houston algorithm and see if this will work. And I remember posting it up. And here's the funny part. So we're going Instagram and TikTok. So I remember posting on Instagram. I was like, yeah, then I put it on my TikTok. My TikTok was at maybe, I don't know, 14,000 at the time. And I remember posting it, and then I don't know, I never looked back at it. And I remember going for, having some tea, having taking my dog for a walk. And I came back, and then about 2 hours later, I was like, oh, that's, 4,000, but it was actually 400,000.
Oh, wow.
Right. So I was like, am I seeing this correctly? Right. So, and that's kind of what happened. It blew up, and it got really, really popular. And that's one in particular. Like, it's funny because Ritz is one. Ritz is a guy that kind of, he's my boy, and Drew, and these guys kind of always hear my mashups ahead of time. And Ritz and me will be like, this is so dope, it's going to blow up. And there's like crickets. But I'll put something out that I won't even share with anybody. I'll just put it up, and all of a sudden I'm like, where is this coming from? So it's really like, I want to say this. And then, so what I did then, so just explain it. So I'm like, okay, guys, I have the magic formula. I've got it, guys. Gonna put some Afro beat tracks under some old 80s tracks, magic formula, boom. The next 5 tracks I go out, crickets. I'm like, okay, that didn't work, right? So that's the thing. So I took time to learn and understand, and like TikTok is its own beast on itself. Instagram has its own beast. They're different. Facebook is its own beast. So I understand, and I've taken time to really understand. I'm going to say this to people: the algorithm. And people are like, "What is the algorithm?" Algorithm is the goddamn audience, right? It's the audience. Understand what audience, who was responding, who's not. So I figured, I'm like, okay, let's it's not that I don't play new music, and I do it all the time here and there, but I'm not trying to get the ear of a 21-year-old, right?
Right, of course.
And probably because half the shit they're listening to is terrible, but I'm just saying, right? That's I'm not trying to get their ear. So so sometimes there's things like that I was doing. So that's what it is with social media. I just kind of have become this guy that's kind of like, okay, there's a science to it. Now I'm doing a lot of things where mashups are a very difficult beast to do because there's so many people doing. I've been doing mashups on Instagram for so long, Staples. Like for a long time.
Long time.
Yeah. There's there's so much backstory here with mashups and stuff like that. It's forever as a production. So I do all that stuff. So when people are like, "Oh my God, it blew up overnight." Here's another saying. Okay, this is Rich is like, "Don't do it," but I'm going to do it, right? Because I'm going to do it.
Do it.
So I got to I don't know what my number is. I got to 50,000 a little while back, right? And then I talked to Rich, and Rich is like, "Yeah, that's a good number." I'm like, "Yeah, it's a good number. It's a solid number." And then he's like, "Are you going to mention it?" And I said, "Well, yeah, sure, but I've been on Instagram since 2013, right? So,
right. Yeah. So it's not like it happened overnight.
Yeah. So it's something. But the funny thing is, the first 25,000, they're probably not even there anymore. So the new ones are like, it'll be exciting. And it's not that I'm trying to downplay it. Don't get me wrong, but I look at things in a very realistic manner. As getting older, you tend not to get caught up in all the shit. Right. Yeah. And that's kind of how it is with me. So I look at the things and I want to work harder. I want to make better. And it is working. So don't get me wrong. It's working. It's doing well. And the thing is, you're right about something like, content is king to me. So I've always done my best to really present content in the right way. Right. That's kind of how I was always been. But that goes back to me organizing events and doing parties for, 20,000 people. Like I just understand the business part, the marketing side of stuff. So everything has to be presented well. Right. So I've kind of stayed true to that. And so when I look back I want to look back 10 years from now and say, how does that look? The mashup may be like, oh my God, what the hell is that mashup? But did the quality look good? Did that come out right? And that's kind of the goal. So when people are looking back at my stuff now, and it's funny because some of the mashups that didn't work, people will look back on are like, oh my God, that's a wicked mashup. Right. And I'll be like that. And it's funny because now here's another part. Sorry, I'm talking.
All good. Keep going.
Is you can repost stuff. And it's funny because the stuff didn't get, it was crickets, but you posted up again. It's so funny. Like I put up a classic house little mashup the other day. Phenomenal, like huge numbers, which was great. But we also know that classic house I believe it's a Toronto thing. New York's into it and stuff like that, but it's a lot of like, I just feel like certain tracks like Tears and Twilight seem to work in Toronto.
Sure.
That's just my belief, right? It doesn't mean it's right or wrong, but that's just kind of my belief. And some people will be like, yeah, I don't think so. But I found that these, certain things are working and these things are working. And then I'm like, hey, you know what? I understand my algorithm that's working. So let's put up this old little Magic Feet, little Louis thing I put up 8 months ago and got 3 people liking it. I put it up and guess what? You get 10,000 people. Just goes to show you how stuff works. Right. So when it comes to social media, I'm going to say this, like it is when it works for you. Oh my God, does it work for you? But you really have to play the long game. And some of those guys, there's some people that flip it, but I can tell you most of the guys playing the long game, you're going to get lucky people. And that happens with anything, right? You're going to get people that it just works out for. And, these fitness guys. And I'm telling you right now, guys, if I had like a 6-pack and everything, I'd be doing this show topless right now.
Oh, sure.
100%.
You and I both. Yeah.
That's what I said. Like I told my wife, I said, listen, like when it's COVID, I'm like, I swear to God, if I was fit, I'd be getting more bits and tips if I took my shirt off. And I hate to say this and use baby oil at the time.
That's all good.
I know.
Lube it up.
Lube it up.
Pause.
Oh wow. I want to ask you. I want to go back to something here. So take us back to Scratch Lab and where the idea and how it all came about and what it all was about.
Okay, so there's a gentleman by the name of Abby Tobias and a guy named Jordan Fisher. Abby Tobias runs a company called Soul Power in Toronto that does very, very well. He was the one who kind of had the brainchild, and then he said, he called me up. He's like, listen, everyone says you're the guy I should talk to. You're really smart when it comes to marketing. You're really great. You're an amazing DJ. And I said, yes. He's like, what do you think? This is the idea I have. And then he's like, how do you think we can make it work? Jordan was another friend of ours. And I'm like, okay, let's get together. And I said, we would do a curriculum this way. We would do this. And then, it was three heads really discussing it and figuring it out. And what we wanted to do is we literally wanted to create a curriculum. And the goal of it was not just to teach, but we wanted people to be able to get a school credit, right? Okay. Musical credit, because, instead of playing the clarinet, nothing wrong with the clarinet, but you know what I mean? Instead of playing like, what was it, a little flute thing? Like I was like, let's learn to DJ, right? Sure. Now, fast forward doing that, I worked with, I did the curriculum. I worked hard on it, but I also worked with DJ Grouch, a legend in Toronto and around the world. So Grouch was a very guy, because he was a guy that I looked up to as a DJ, and he was technically very skilled. I'm good at certain parts, but scratching is not my forte. Okay. And being a turntablist is something that I do poorly, by the way, very poorly, like horribly.
You would never know. You would never know by watching.
Yeah. I'm not. It's not my thing. But I tried with Grouch. But anyways, we did that, and then. But here's the thing: idea, great; concept, great. We started. We got a lot of press. We got an amazing amount of press. I remember. It's funny because everyone says, remember what's the show? The kid, Shark Tank. Is that Shark?
Dragon's Den here.
Dragon's Den. So everyone's like, oh, you were on Dragon's Den. But I mean, the way it was done on Dragon's Den is Jordan knew the producer, and he's like, hey, come on and help get advertised. Most of the deals never fall through, right? It's just kind of, so we went to this big warehouse, and it's just a warehouse of like people and little tables and all their ideas. Right?
Yeah.
What is this? Right. And it was for the producers. Right. And the producers would walk around and be like, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Right. And then, so we kind of got up there, and we got up there and we did our thing. And it was so funny because I get a lot of people at the time. I remember, I forget, was it Kevin O'Leary with somebody? Yeah, it was Kevin. Was it? Yeah, it was him. Yeah.
Mr. Wonderful.
Yes. Mr. Wonderful. Yeah. He kind of said, he's like, so let me ask you, and this is me. So this is what I was talking about, being young and slightly arrogant. So I remember to this day, he asked me a question. So I'm on national television. Like, listen, the difference with my career and other DJs' career is at a very young age, I learned that you're replaceable as a DJ. Okay. Right. Meaning as soon as they get bored of you, it's $300-400 for the DJ. They get rid of you. So a gentleman by the name of Charles Caboose, huge, massive entrepreneur in Toronto. He's done his thing. Legend when it comes to that scene. Took me under his wing and said, hey, you can just take the door. And for me, I was like, what is the door? Right. He's like, well, you're bringing all the people. You can have the money for it. I just want the bar. I was like, so hold on. I'm like, you can do that? Right. I'm like, this concept, this was new to me. It's very new to me, right? So all of a sudden I went from making $300 to $10,000, right? So but remember guys, that was the apps back then were the clubs.
Yeah.
Social media apps were the clubs. That's how people met. That's how people saw each other. That's how they connected. Like that's how we were, we were hooking up, right? Some of us were going on celebrity cruises and hooking up, and somebody's there. Some other guys.
You're a good listener.
Some of us were going to clubs and hooking up, right? So that's how it works. So I then turned into this DJ entrepreneur businessman, running my own nights, running my guys, hiring DJs and everything like that, and running the door. So when Kevin O'Leary asked me this question of how much do you make, it's a double-edged sword, because I'm not a regular DJ. I'm doing my own events, do my own parties, like a comedian who books his own show. Yeah, because I have a crowd. So I said an exorbitant amount. He's like, what? How much? Sorry, how much do you make a night? I was like, I don't know, $3-4 grand. Right. But that's what it was. That's what it was. I wasn't lying, right? Yeah. And and so he's like, and then they're like, so why don't you then he got into like, forget the DJ school, just get the DJs, hire them, and book them out. I'm like, but that's not how it works, right? Because not every DJ can do that. So we're getting to, so that's what that scratch, that Dragons Den turned into this. They're like, dude, you're doing the wrong thing. Forget about the school. And he's like, hire all these DJs. I'm like, there's a law school, hire all the lawyers afterwards and take a percentage. No. Right.
Exactly.
But you wanted to teach. But I remember Dragons Den was funny that way. And I remember people were like, it was cool. And it was a lot of fun, but it did bring the school's attention. But the problem with the school was this: it was changing from vinyl to digital.
Yeah.
So if you want my opinion, we were about 4 years too late. We did well, right? But the problem with me as well, not only was I doing that stuff, so I had Scratch Lab, then I signed my record deal. So my career was like on the direct, I was up there. Like I was just like going. So I stopped teaching. I wasn't there. Right. So I just kind of it was like 3 years. I'm like, okay, I'm not like, it was a labor of love, my school. And to this day, I'm very proud that I was able to do it. And I'm being one of the first to do it in the curriculum and all that stuff. But I was like, I need to get out. Right. I'm not there. That was one part that I left and we made an agreement. They went on and they did stuff, but I think they ended up closing it a while back, but that's kind of how it happened. But I really, really love the fact, I say this to people all the time, and being a DJ, growing up as a DJ, one part of it is getting used to being people really appreciating your parties and your clubs. And like when I go out now, people are like, I used to do this, I used to do that with you. That's an amazing feeling. But my biggest fear and my greatest fear was always being forgotten. This is a young thing. This is just being growing up. You forget. I don't want to be forgotten as a DJ. I want people to remember me, whether it's my parties or whatever I do.
Yeah.
So I realized that school really helped you be remembered because I'm like, I taught you how to DJ. So for me, that was kind of that kind of struck to me, and it kind of hit me in a certain way that like, yes, this will help me be remembered because I'm teaching. Not only am I teaching a 6-year-old, I'm teaching a 10-year-old. You know what I mean? So that process really stuck with me. So that's what I was proud of most with the Scratch Lab.
Yeah.
And I think, we were teaching on vinyl. We got our own vinyl done and everything like that. But I think, and we were trying to go digital, but like I said, I was going in a different direction.
When it started, when did it start? Around what year was it?
Oh, Dan, you're going to age me right now. Hold on. So I'm going to say 2010.
2010. Okay.
Yeah. So Serato was out, or remember Scratch Live, the black box?
Yep.
I think it was out at that time.
I'm actually looking around. I might have it on my desk here somewhere.
Yeah. I have like 7 sitting around. Do you actually have one sitting there?
I think I do. I don't know actually where it's.
Probably still uses it.
Maybe I don't. Maybe it's not right there.
Maybe it doesn't.
But that's what it was. So everyone's like, we're going digital. So I had all this vinyl, but like I was teaching and doing, and I was still playing vinyl at the time, but I was also making the switch to Serato at the time, right? So I was Scratch Live at the time. Sorry. So I was doing that. So then we're like, oh, maybe we have to change how we're doing this, right? But then when it came time to change stuff, I was like, yeah, I'm out. I'm touring. I'm all over the world. So yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So it's not that it wouldn't, because I wonder about this. Like, would it still work today, but by modernizing and changing it up a little bit?
I'm gonna say no. So a lot of people. I'll tell you why I'm gonna say no. DJing now, controllers, God bless them, have made it easy for everyone to DJ, right? Which is not a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
It's made it easier on your back. It's made it easier for everyone to DJ.
Yeah.
But it's also taken the grit work out of understanding the game and the art of it, right? Now, that's the old guy, the old, DJ going, hey, I used to mix with my ears and not my eyes, right? It's that way of doing it, right? And then you sound like that guy. But it's funny because I was teaching my son to DJ, and I will not allow him to look at the lines. Just like stop.
Okay. Yeah.
Like just listen. Stop looking at a goddamn line. In fact, I'll be honest, there's on the controller, there's a sync button, right? And I don't give a shit if anyone uses it.
Right.
When I use it, I mess up every time because for some reason I don't understand how it works because you hit it and then it syncs and then supposedly the next one hit, but I think I hit it the wrong. I'll be honest, I don't use it. I don't even know how it works, right?
Okay.
Nothing wrong with it if somebody wants to use it. Like I literally was using it the other day and I'm like, why am I so off? like, what is going on here? Why is this thing not changing? And they're like, oh, your sync's on. I'm like, who the hell put sync on? Take this shit off, right? But that's what happens, right? And it's kind of that thing. But I think when it comes to DJing now, like I said, that art form, that part. So people now, there's so many things that it helps you do. So I think the way DJing now is, I don't think a lot of people have the patience to learn it, and nor do they want it. There's a lot of guys that are like, hey, could you teach me? And it's not, I mean, I don't have the time, but I'll be like, listen, there's YouTube things, there's stuff like that. Like, you're not going to want to listen. My son has no choice to listen to me, right? I'm a pretty more, he's like,
right. Yeah.
But you know, most people are like, I'm not listening to you, right? And it's not because I'm trying to do it old way. There's always different ways to do it. It's because I think the fundamentals of production and music shouldn't change.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, you know, the fundamentals of a car have changed a little bit, but it's still push the button, it starts, it goes. Right. Battery or stuff like that. Same thing with DJing. It's still the fundamentals of making music and understanding music, and what you're playing is the fundamentals of it. Right.
What an amazing analogy too.
Yeah.
No, because I also say, like, when people, like, you know, tools are there to make things easier. And I always actually think back to a car, to, you know, we're not sitting here going like this anymore. We have the capability of hitting that button.
Yeah.
Well, if you can do that, sure, why not? But at the same time, you got to do what works for you, and the way.
Yeah.
Right. That's just the way I see it. You just got to do what works for you. And how
you know what?
Yes. I agree with you on the sync, though. I'm
I mean,
I've done it before on the sync, and same thing as you. I've thrown it on, and it's like, okay, I just messed up.
I don't get it, right? I don't get it. And it's not like, it's like, I don't care if someone uses, I could care less, right? I mean, like I said, like, I'm going to say this. There are so many better DJs out there than me. There's thousands. And someone will say to me, I'm a better DJ than you. I'm like, yeah, you probably are. Right. I'm not here to fight you on who's a better DJ. Yeah. But my understanding of a dance floor, my understanding of music, my understanding of how to make that I guess the mastery, the puppet control of a crowd is what my skill set is. Right.
The ability to read a room and kind of get the idea. Like, I think I know what this guy's gonna like, based on he's wearing parachute pants. He kind of knows, like, all right, I got this guy figured out.
It's funny because I tell some of the DJs that work with my company 008, I'm like, when you're doing a warm-up, look at the crowd. Yeah. Like, what was warm-up music? But no, because if you start playing TLC, and let's say you're playing an old TLC song, or let's forget about that. Let's say that we are playing, I don't know, Stevie Wonder, my Sherry, like, and then some people's dancing to it, or they're singing to it. You're like, okay, they understand what's going on. And then sometimes maybe you get into, I don't know, another 80s track or 90s track, and if they're vibing, you're like, okay, this crowd knows some music. Sometimes I'll go into my warm-ups and I'll go deep, and I'll be like, and then I'll be like, oh shit, they don't have a clue what I just played, right?
Yeah,
and that's that's understanding and learning your crowd. Right. That's part of it. I'm telling them that's an important part of DJing, and that skill set is, once again, if I tell someone that, they're like, no, just play my music, man. Get out of here, dude. Yeah, cool. You know what I mean? And then and it's funny now, it's like, if you put people behind me while I'm DJing, I'm going to be like, get the hell out of here. Now that's what it is. Remember, people would book us, put us in the corner.
But see, here's the thing is, and that's where, like, going back to the teaching thing is, I think the teaching aspect, you can teach someone how to mix on beat and everything like that, but teaching someone how to read a crowd is something that I don't know if it's necessarily teachable, or if it's something that you just have to get an understanding of it.
You got to do it, Dan. You got to, it's repetition, right?
Yeah.
You just got to do it. And that's what I said. That's the thing. It's like, get your reps in, right? It's like, literally, you have to watch, you have to learn. And I'll be like, stop looking at the goddamn lines on the mixer. Look up at, they're the ones dancing. The lines aren't your indicator if someone's doing well or not, right?
Yeah.
Look at the people dancing. Are they responding to you? Are they like, there's no, like, you can make eye contact with people. They're not going to bite your head off or something like that. You have to understand what's going on the dance
floor.
What's
happening on.
I will read it, and I'll be like, damn it.
And tell me all the DJs in the chat, which we have a lot of DJs in there too, and I want to come back to that later. But DJs in the chat, tell me how many times you do this, because I do it. I'll be mixing a song. As soon as I mix over, my head goes up, and I'm looking around at the crowd. I'm looking to see for that reaction. I'm looking to see who did what and everything like that. I don't know if anybody else does that, but it's like immediately, as soon as that mix finishes, boom, my head is up, and I'm kind of looking to see
how it works or how it doesn't work. All the time.
And then you'll know right there, Dan. You'll be like, okay, I'm not going in this direction again, or like, let me move into that direction again.
Exactly.
And it helps, and that's a part of it. And people are like, that's the part. Like I said, like, you sound like I'm not, there's listen, I'm all about, appreciating new and old, and I'm all about, social media. I'm all about that stuff. And sometimes it's funny because some people are like, what do you think about social media DJs? And I said, what do you mean? I think it's great that they're getting popular. And I said, here's the difference. Like I said, it's the same thing with me. You guys can be like, oh, your mashups are great, but you put me live, if it's shit, it's really not going any further, right?
Yeah.
You can still always get your numbers, and you can get numbers, and you're going to fool people for a while, for sure. 100%. I can tell you, wasn't there that phase where every Playboy bunny was a DJ for about 4 or 5 years, and every club owner was like, yo, I want that one. I want that one. I'll be like, but I can DJ. They're like, hell no, Bubba.
Yeah.
I want
Paris Hilton was a good example of that at the beginning.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, I've been fooling people on Monday nights at 9 o'clock for quite some time. So I totally understand where you're coming from, my friend.
So you know this. You know the game we're playing here. You know what's going on.
Man. That's it.
So yeah.
We did have a question in the chat. Somebody wanted to know what you'd be doing if you weren't involved in music.
Okay, someone asked me this before, and I wanted to be a paramedic.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to do. Now, I'll be honest, I probably wasn't the smartest guy to get to get the thing.
Right.
That's what I was. And I think my mom's like, I remember at a certain age when my mother was like, hey, son, let's have a talk. I'm like, your grades are interesting. Your love of school is interesting.
Right.
Want to be a barber?
Want
to be a mechanic? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, Mom, I want to be a paramedic. See, I can't even say it now. What did I just say? Paramedic. See, there you go. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, it's like, no. So that's what I wanted to do. That's exactly what I wanted to do if I wasn't going to be a DJ.
Can we quickly shout out everybody in the chat, all the DJs especially, and I want to come back to this because I said I was going to say it, all the DJs there. So a lot of people always ask me, and the question was asked earlier, who would you like to work with and everything? I know you know a lot of these guys that are in the chat, and thanks everyone for joining in today. Tell me a little bit about this, because when I started DJing, one of the things I noticed is a lot of my friendships and everything, along with Staples and Mike Harding and Vinny Vegas and everything, became my close friends. And it became something that it became a part of you, a life, like it became your life, where it was like everything you're always talking about with your friends is always DJing and everything. My question though is more, how important is it to have these guys, and how closely do you try and work with them? Because you've mentioned before a little bit where you kind of throw ideas off of like other guys and everything like that, but just talk to us a little bit about that, about some of these DJs in there.
It's always, when I was younger, I surrounded myself with a lot of people, but it's very, in this business, you realize how much people are, what they're out for. And so there's very few people that, there's DJs, like the guys, everybody in this chat, you know what I mean? Is a well-respected DJ, and I've worked with all of them. Right. Now I have a few in there that like I'm connected to and I work with on the regular, and I'm very happy for that, because they're not yes men, and a lot of people have yes men around them. I'm like, yeah, that was great. These guys are real, right? So I'm looking for that real, and these are the type of DJs that you need. Some guys that are real, and let's cut the shit. DJs have egos. I don't care. You can.
What?
Yeah. See, when people say that, they're like, so to this day, you're going to get it. Even with my boys, there's parts where like sometimes they'll do something and be like, hey, guys, I've toured the world. Hey, you need to settle down, buddy. I'm like 10 times better than you. Who are you talking to? Right.
Right.
I think having that core group of people that really know you from day one, understand who you are. And some people don't understand, and you know what I mean? It is what it is, but I think it's very important. And I think especially for me, DJing's changed a lot over the years. Dare I say I fell out of love with DJing for a while.
Really?
You know what I mean?
Really?
It was to a point, because when you spend 15, 20 years, like doing your own parties and so you couldn't just DJ. Every time I couldn't get a DJ gig, they're just like, no, we want you to bring people. But I'm like, but I can DJ. They're like, no. If you're not bringing people, then no, don't worry about it. Right. I'm like, okay. So that, that's, you make your bed, you lay in it. Right. And that's kind of what happened. But like, so finding love of DJing and the people around you sometimes pushing you to do other things is important. And like I said, I have my moments where I'm very bullheaded about the DJ business. And like I said, I'm frustrated when I speak to other people in the clubs. And like I said, there's times in this business where it's a DJ's world, or it's the promoter's world, or it's the club world, right?
Yeah.
And now let's face it, it's the club world, it's the restaurant world, right? The DJs, and unfortunately, you can't get all the DJs to combine and make a union and set one fee, because the one guy, unfortunately, is going to undercut you because they want to get that spot, they want to get that job, right?
Yeah.
And I get it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not there to fight it. I get it, but I also want to say to that DJ, like, you have to really, like, if you're, that's understand, like, it was a business for me. It's always been a business for me. Like, let me take that back. It wasn't a business till I hit, like, but it was still a young age. Charles helped me make it a business when I was 20 years old. That's still young.
Yeah.
Right. That's what it became, a full-time business. I'm not a big drinker. I mean, I've seen like what happens to people doing drugs. I mean, I remember being at RPM. I remember RPM, and the first time I was DJing there, and then the lighting tech threw like cocaine on the turntables. He's like, yeah, let's go. And I was like, oh my God. Right.
Yeah.
I like panicked, and I was like, yeah, that's not my thing. Right. But you've seen all those things. So over the time and over the years, when it comes to this and the business and how I guess when it comes to how you see it and that core group of people is very important. So without them, I definitely would have made some poor decisions. Put it that way, for sure.
I got
so,
you.
like I said, So because sometimes if you follow your own head and get caught up in your stuff and like, I'm too good for this, I'm not doing this. You know what I mean? You kind of end up making mistakes.
Yeah.
So we talked about your social media, and you're putting a lot of mashups out there, and you're picking great songs, and your body set up now. We're at the top of the hour, just a little bit over. So can you give us a little 2 minutes, little demo there? Is it possible? Are you set up for it?
Oh, let me see here.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but I just did.
Yeah. Thanks, Staples.
Yeah, that's what we do here on Mondays. Put people on the spots. People want to see you work your magic.
Let's see.
No pressure though.
No, none pressure whatsoever.
None whatsoever.
Let's see what we got here.
And if you don't mind, play all the artists that Twitch says you're not allowed to play. That would be.
Oh shit! You know what? I don't
care. I don't even care. Go do your thing, dude. Honestly,
I don't even care.
Really.
You got to tell me. I haven't. Like, hold on. Can you play?
I don't care. I really don't care.
Oh, I don't want to mess you up.
No, please. Quit on that. Well, I'll get banned on a high note. It's all good.
Hold on.
There you go.
Adjust my system to do it this way. So hold on, let me just see if I can.
Girl, you came and changed the way I want, the way I don't. I cannot explain.
Are you getting that?
Yep.
Yep.
Girl, you know it's true. Stay with me.
Oh yeah.
My life will never be the same. Girl, you came and changed the way I want, the way I don't. I cannot explain the things I feel for you. But girl, you know it's true. Stay with me, I feel my dreams, and I'll be all you need. Feels
Oh yeah. Such a great song.
That's so good.
Regardless of who's singing.
don't stop. But when you jump, then you don't stop. Yes, yes, y'all, then you don't stop. To the beat, y'all, then you don't stop. Yes, yes, y'all, then you don't stop. But when you jump, then you don't stop.
Making my way downtown, walking fast, faces pass and I'm homebound.
Always.
Staring blankly ahead, just making my way through the crowd. And I need you, and I miss you.
Not every day you do an air violin, right?
Yeah. If I could fall into the sky, do you think time would pass me by? 'Cause you know I'd walk 1,000 miles if I can just see you.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
And the DJ them not keep people no more. Your passion and fighting them no unite no more. All I tell you them they broke out like a sword. It seems like the people them no love that no more. If I'm not the fitness and culture the cure. I try my best all I want to say that family from Jamaica. For it went for preaching the people to go. And that is how any man is family go. If there's no mister, that's how me come back and Jamaica love things gone wrong. You know the woman in the sun from the man. All of them are living at the same time.
Is that shook?
No,
Love Bunny song there.
The first you don't succeed. No.
Without a dope beat, step two, step two, step two, step two, step two, step two. It's been a long time. We shouldn't have left you without a dope beat. Step two, step two, step two, step two, step two. Baby girl.
What would you do to get to me? What would you say to have your way? Would you give up or try again? If I hesitate to let you in, would you be yourself or play a role? Tell all the boys I'll keep it low. I say no, would you turn away or play me off? Or would you stay up? Pushing don't see. Let's talk off and try again.
Everybody.
Try again, try again. Pushing don't see. You can dust it off and try again. Dip yourself off and try again. Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide. Gonna find you and take.
I'm gonna rip this one off.
Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide. Gonna find you and make you want me.
Amazing.
Nice. Such an oh man, I gotta play this more often. Man.
There you go.
Word Up magazine, Salt and Pepper and Heavy D up in the limousine, hanging pictures on my wall. Every Saturday, rap attack, Mr. Magic Molly Mall. I let my tape rock till my tape pop. Way back when I had the red and black lumberjack with the hat to match. Remember rapping Duke?
Yeah,
The hard,
I got
never
one more.
thought hip hop would take it this far. Now I'm in the limelight cause I rhyme tight. time to get paid, blow up like the world trade. Born sinner, the opposite of a winner. Remember when I used to eat sardines for dinner? Peace to Raw G, Brucey B, Kid Capri, Funk Master Flex, Love Bug, Star Ski. I'm blowing up like you thought I would. Call a crib, same number, same hood. It's all good. And if you don't know, now you know, you know.
Oh, there it is. I hear it. Is this caravan? Nice. House Martin Caravan of Love. All right. I was just playing this over the weekend.
Yeah.
Caravan of Love by House Martins, yeah. Oh, so good, dude. Thank you, Buck Roger, for the cheer of the biddies. Good to see you, Buck. So great, dude.
I cut out. Well, there you go.
So great, man. Thank you. That's
loved it,
dude. I could hear it subtly, and I'm like, is he playing the House Martins Caravan of Love? Like,
yeah,
you pulled that one, if I can say, sir, out of your ass.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
That's the thing I love about listening to other DJs. Like, I'll go places and people are like, oh, that guy, my friends are very loyal. They're like, oh, you should be up there. No, let them do their thing. But my favorite thing about listening to other DJs is what they play, because I'm like, oh shit, that's a great song. And then I'll make a mental note or I Shazam it for myself. Like I got no problem, because when I Shazam it, then I know when I go to download stuff, like it's in a folder, my Shazam stuff, boom, it's there and I have it forever. Because there's so much great stuff out there, and you just proved it. Yeah. In what you just did, from Lauryn Hill, who never shows up on time, if at all, to the House Martins, right? I mean, just phenomenal, dude. So much. Everyone's cheering biddies, and
thank you, Father Damien.
Thank you, everybody. Father Damien, everybody that's here cheering, KK Boosh and everyone else.
Can we give it up for Baba Khan there, first of all? That was freaking
come on, it's phenomenal.
Like, honestly, dude, that was just like,
there you go.
Honestly, well done.
But that's what it is. It's good, because I said that passion and stuff like that. And you know what? And the problem is, like I said, sometimes you, as a DJ, you like I said, there's ebbs and flows to everything in the career. So sometimes you take things in stride. But I think just finding the love for it again is cool. And I think Twitch was a big part of that as well. Yeah, finding the love for it again, because it's very easy to get moody when you go places. And it's funny, because I'll play at a place. I was playing in a barn. I haven't played a bar in a while. I was doing it for a friend, and it's funny because people are like, it was good, and it's not that I needed to hear, but they're like, wow, you're really good. What's your name there, Baba? Baba?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. How long have you been doing this? Oh, a couple of weeks. Okay, okay. Yeah, you keep it up. You got a future, buddy. You got a future. I'm like,
yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah. Dude, phenomenal. That's all I can say. We've gone well over the hour. Listen, I want to be respectful of your time. I had a great time. Obviously, all your homies in the chat had a great time busting balls in the chat. Like I said before, there was an entirely different conversation going on in the chat. And a lot of times when we have guests on, I'm always trying to be very focused on the guest, but I'll be honest, on this chat tonight, it was unbelievable. Celebrity Drew, Pete, Vicious, everybody that's here. I appreciate y'all for being here and doing that. Obviously, Mike Harding's in the mix there as well. So, Bubba, listen, I got to do we got a couple more segments on the show that we want to do. You're more than welcome to stick around for them. If you got to go, I'll let you go. It's up to you. It's up to you. What?
What's are you okay? I mean, what's the segments? I do. You know what the thing is? It's the volley for us this week. So
yeah,
I've been doing. Like, I did. So I have a couple things I have to go to my mom's and pick up stuff. But I hate to be that guy.
No, I
guy
understand
saying that. But like,
I understand
for a bit. She's actually called me like 3 times.
No, it's all good, man. I would talk to you for hours. We definitely got to get you back on here again.
Yeah.
Even if it's just hanging out as one of our panel members. Would love to have you back.
Listen, guys, I appreciate the offer, and like I said, it's very, very thoughtful of you. Thanks for having me on. And like I said, I can talk a lot, so
no, it's great.
I didn't
great.
Bore you too much, but I appreciate it, guys. And congratulations, Staples. Do your thing, man, and keep it up. And I'm glad to see that you guys are still rocking on Twitch. I am gonna do my best to come back to Twitch in November, at least do one show. It's been Twitch was a phenomenal experience. There's a lot of ups and downs with Twitch as well with me. So
sure.
Something that I love, but I also hate at the same time. It's a
I'm right there. That's a whole, that's something you and I could definitely talk about because I'm right there with you.
That's what it is. But thank you guys. I appreciate it. The guys in the chat and the guys busting chops. I'm sure I'll be hearing it afterwards. And if some of you guys called during this, I was trying to be professional, guys. I wasn't going to pick.
Dude, you're phenomenal. Come on,
appreciate that.
You got a future, kid. You got something.
You got something on there, you know.
Yeah.
I told my mom, "Don't worry." I told her 30 years ago. I said, "Mom, I said you don't want me to be mechanic or barber. I'm gonna pull this off. I'm gonna pull this off."
Yeah, you don't need to be one of those EMT people. You got a thing in music going on for you. I think you're gonna do well, Bubba. I think you got a bright future ahead of you, sir. I do.
Guys,
I really do.
It's always good to hash it out with people and just to talk about the good and bad about this business, and hopefully someone will say something to somebody else that'll maybe strike a chord with someone, and they can go on. There's and make more sense of the DJ career, what they want to do. But yeah, it's always wonderful hacking it up with other guys and talking to other guys, and respect you guys and congratulations on everything you're doing.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Coming from you, it means a lot. Really does. And we'll definitely be in touch, sir. I'll definitely be on your socials, and we'll definitely be chatting again.
Yeah, I got CC. It's for tomorrow. You're going to see. I'm going to put out a mix. I know you probably. I don't know if you know the song, but the new Bruno Mars and Rosie song. It's a take on Mickey. Hey, Mickey.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard it.
Yep.
The Korean song. I don't know what it is about this song, but like I said, I love the mashup I'm going to throw up tomorrow, and I promise you it's going to have like 3 people liking it because it's not within my algorithm.
Yeah,
I'm going to put it out nevertheless, and hopefully and hope for the best, and maybe it'll take me on tour one day.
Awesome. One day. All right,
gentlemen.
Man. Thank you, sir. We'll talk to you again soon. Everybody, give it up. DJ Bubba.
Take care, guys.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Wow, that was fantastic to say the least.
Yeah,
shout out to people in the chat real quick before we move on to our next segment of the show. I mean, come on, DJ Bubba. Follow that guy on socials, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. I'd like to shout out Dan, who coughed on his microphone early on at the beginning of the interview, and then whatever he coughed up, he kind of picked off your microphone. I don't know if anybody else caught that.
Maybe you know what it was. There's, anyways.
Yeah.
There's
shout out to. Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get
my mic.
Yeah, sure. You're gross.
What is that?
Listen, I want to shout out to the folks that are in the chat. DJ Buck Roger, I haven't seen him in a while. It's good to have him here. Real McShady is here. Vinny Vegas, hey yo, how you doing? Like I said, Lexi and Lucky Lashes are all here hanging out. Bod is here. Celebrity Jews. Hopefully he's still hanging out. I see him in the chat.
Shout out to Celebrity Jew, who it was so great to see him at Love Bunny's birthday party, and he was there.
We got to get Drew on this show.
Yeah,
definitely.
Really great guy.
Yeah, Skinner, Ritz, all these guys. Vicious, thank you. Father Damien, shout out. We got to be good because Father Damien's in the chat. Cool DJ / priest in the Toronto area. Follow him if you don't. He's on the Twitch. Cat Ocean Dream, KK Bush, Mrs. Gabby K is here. Nata Girl BC, of course, Pete and Shiloh and everybody else. Thank you all for being here. Shout out to everybody.
Juno Award winner, as says Pete.
That's right, Pete. Maybe Pete will come on the show one day. Let's welcome into the show, ladies and gentlemen, one of our regular panel guys. Everybody, give it up for our friend Georgie Boy. What's up, George?
Oh, George, the usual,
Good to see you, sir. Good to see you.
You too.
We got something special planned, George, so I'm glad you're here for it. We got another special guest that's here, ladies and gentlemen, and he's been waiting patiently. I don't know. He's going through a lot of legal issues lately. I got a little track I'll play for him in the background. Had a very busy weekend this weekend. Halloween bashes and throwback bashes and all that good stuff. You may have heard him in the news lately having some issues with his partner, if you will. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the show. Give it up for none other than the good half of Hall & Oates. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up. Daryl Hall, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, wow.
There he is.
Wow.
There he is. He's got the oats on his jacket there.
Oats on his jacket. I love it.
Yeah, that's great.
In the spirit of Halloween, of course.
We're fooling nobody here. First of all, before we get to this outfit, I noticed Simone is not here again. What have I been on 5 times?
Honest to God,
Kate, hate my guts. Like
no.
what? Like I've been practicing Broken Bones for 6 months now.
Yeah,
to the point I can hit the notes, and yet she's not here again.
Mr. Daryl, I can assure you, she had planned and had every intention of being here tonight, especially with the likes of Baba Khan being here. But she is a professional and has requirements and engagements and deadlines and all that kind of stuff, and unfortunately couldn't be here. But we will make it happen for you one day, Mr. Hall.
Yes. Well, she's a professional, unlike me. Now, the second thing is you have Baba Khan on. Speaking of professionals, I got to follow that. Like what is this? Like, is this being punked here? Like I got to follow that talent.
Listen, no pressure, but don't fuck it up. Sorry,
very disappointed.
Yeah, don't fuck it up. Pardon me, my friend.
Yeah, okay. I am dressed as Daryl Hall with the Quaker Oats, Hall & Oats. Yes.
Yeah.
I wore it Saturday night at the 80. This is the suit that he actually wore. The actual suit he wore in the Out of Touch video. I had it sent here. I had to have it back by midnight. Now,
you know what's out of touch is Daryl Hall's haircut, but it looks good on you.
Well, that's why the costume itself went over like a fart in church.
Yeah,
for a couple of reasons. If you
can
have
we
to
say that?
Right. Can we say that?
I don't know. Father Damien.
I'd like to ask Father Damien if he's ever actually heard a fart in church.
I'm sure it wouldn't. It wouldn't go over well. So if I have to explain who I am and what this is, it's not going over. The second part of what made it worse, we went to the Breakfast Club, DJ starting from scratch, MC Kid Arctic, wonderful event, awesome time as always. Yeah. But unbeknownst to me, they too dressed as Hall & Oates. So Scratch was Hall. He had the same exact wig, looked better on him, and Kid Arctic was Oates. So there I am as Hall and Oates.
Box of Oates.
Yeah. Box of Oates, which I thought was clever. It even has the mustache, as you can see, if anyone noticed that. I had to explain that. So anyway, you'll never see this outfit again. How about that, everyone?
Oh, come on. I thought people were saying this is just your regular attire for a Monday.
I thought it was a good idea. I thought I'd looked on the internet. No, it'd never been done. There'd been people doing Hall & Oates as couples and so forth, but never the Box of Oates. Hey, I tried. Well, I made the attempt. I made the effort.
You did a great job with it. I have to say, you did an excellent job. I absolutely love it.
Can't go for that. There you go. That's
Halloween
fantastic.
This week, which is supposed the reason why I dress like this. Although to somebody's point, yes, there goes Oates. I'm going to take Oates away. That's why I dress like this all the time. But it is Halloween this week, correct?
It is, and I have to apologize because I did not dress up. I did not have a chance to get anything ready. I know George was really busy, and he didn't have a chance either. Like, we appreciate you came in. You do not understand.
Well, I was told that this was a costume thing, and so I'm being punked once again. No Simone. I have to go after Baba Khan, and I'm the only one wearing a costume. I think I'm.
I mean, we don't want you to feel alone with that. So I mean, we appreciate the fact that you took the time to dress up.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't know what else to say. You did absolutely fantastic with this. I love it. The box is what did it for me. That's what did it for me.
Yes, the box of oats.
Look at it this way. Look at it this way. At least you got your oats today, as we say in England.
Did.
There you go.
So my oats today, as they say.
So
Can we say that on the air? No.
We just did.
Yeah, very good. Yes,
Yeah.
I've been troubled times too.
How long have you been wearing this costume for, though? Like, has it been over for the past 4 or 5 days?
3.5 days.
3.5 days.
And the wig is killing me. It's very hot.
How do you think we feel? Jesus.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
I mean,
All right,
I mean, just so you're not alone. Just so you're not alone. There we go. We also have Mr. Run DMC in the house.
Here. I need my own theme. Here we go. There we go. Gotta have my own little theme song. Gotta fix the bucket lid. There we go. All right. Just refer to me as Run BMC for the balance of the show, and I can't see shit. All right. Anyway, it's not about me. It's about Mr. Hall. So in the vein of Halloween week this week, Mr. Hall came in, is going to talk to us today about the top 80s Halloween theme or type songs, not in any particular order. Right?
Right. And these are entirely subjective, and none of them are Thriller or Ghostbusters or Hungry Like the Wolf. That would have been too easy. So we're not using those. We're going with something, whether they mention Halloween or the video is spooky, Halloween, gothic-ish. I mean, really, we could have probably chosen almost every 80s metal album. We could have chosen any new wave, dark wave band or song of the era, and maybe I chose some of those, but these are a few. Hey, if you're going to play some Halloween music this week, here's some songs that aren't Thriller, Hungry Like the Wolf, and right in no particular order.
Right.
So if we're queued up, how about this one? Somebody's Watching Me, Rockwell, 1984, with a fun fact that Michael Jackson, of course, is doing the background vocals, in case no one knew that. How about that?
He definitely was.
Do we know why? Do we know how Rockwell got Michael Jackson to sing backup on the song?
Tell us, Staples. I do, but go ahead.
Hey, man, do you know?
I don't.
Really?
I do not.
Oh my goodness!
I do. I'm doing this last minute. I've had no sleep.
All good. All good. I know you're tired.
Go ahead.
Barry Gordy, the person who pretty much ran Motown Records, is the uncle of Rockwell. So Barry Gordy says, "Hey, I got a guy. I can have him sing backup for you, and his name's Michael Jackson." And there it is, and that's the connection. Barry Gordy. Thank you, Mike Harding, for hopping in there. Yep, Barry Gordy is the uncle of Rockwell, so that's how it all came about. Anyway, go ahead.
I did not know that. That is wacky stuff. That
Go
is weird and wild stuff. All right.
That's right. He does these impressions. They're like the real people. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Well. Try doing Karnak at a party and nobody knows who the heck Karnak is.
Right.
A Johnny Carson fan, but anyway, it's all right. All right. Here's one. Bela Lugosi is Dead from Bauhaus.
Good
1979, but was made popular when it was re-released in 1983 from the erotic horror movie The Hunger, starring Susan Sarandon, David Bowie, Catherine Deneuve. The song, the original, is 9 minutes and 36 seconds if you're
it's a long
driving
one.
or whatever. But the 80s version is a shortened 6 minutes and 53 seconds. So, yes, came out in 79, but re-released. So I'm going 80s. Bela Lugosi's Dead.
Good one. It's good. It's a good one. I like this one.
Classic. Very dark.
KK Bush is in the chat saying, play the long version. Take us to the end of the show.
Actually. Yeah, drown the K-Man out, play the Bela Lugosi's Dead. The K-Man's hair is dead. It's off, but his wig is...
His split ends are dead.
Yeah. Well, let me segue then to, if we're talking about the wig and we're talking about Daryl Hall, I'd be remiss if I didn't include a Hall & Oates tune. How about Maneater from 1982, which of course hit #1 in December of 82 for 4 weeks, ending that year. And the song, fun fact, not about a woman, but it's about greed in New York City in the 80s. So I've been told by Oates. Oats told me that.
Box of oats. Hey, Oats, nice box you got there.
Yes. Good tune.
Great song. Great song.
That is a good one. I like.
All right,
that one.
moving on. Since
Yep.
it's past my bedtime and Baba
I
Khan
know,
is
I'm sorry.
amazing. No, it's hey, listen, I was very entertained. He's Baba Khan is awesome. We went to his 30th anniversary party back in April. It was
Oh, okay.
spectacular.
Yeah, he's the man.
All right. I'm going of course we remember Motley Crue and the Shout at the Devil album. So
Love it.
arguably we can include the entire album. But I'm going to go with Looks That Kill.
Okay.
Because, you know, in the video, it featured a satanic warrior princess, if you will, who disappeared into a flaming pentagram. And that was Motley Crue's first appearance on MTV. And the song peaked at number 54 because of the video. So sorry, again, church reference in a way, pentagram. I feel horrible that I'm going to be shot down later on the program. But
it happens.
Looks That Kill.
Peaked at 54 in 84, right?
Yes, it did. First time I saw it was on City Limits with Christopher Ward. Yeah, 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. on City TV, well before much music. Good tune, better video.
Yes.
All right, moving on. I'm going with a double shot of Oingo Boingo, which sounds really funny. I mean, say that like there's a sentence you have probably never heard in your life. I'm going with a double shot of Oingo Boingo.
Pause.
So, yes, pause. Make your own jokes. All right. So we got Weird Science and Dead Man's Party. Okay.
Yeah.
So both appeared in fun fact, both appeared in movies. Of course, the first one, title track to the cult classic film Weird Science with Kelly LeBrock.
What a smoke show.
Absolutely. And then Dead Man's Party was initially a B-side, but gained popularity with the band actually in the movie Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield in 1986.
It's interesting now because Danny Elfman is like the giant, super mega like film composer for Batman and all these other massive films. Who'd have thunk?
Agreed.
Love
Absolutely.
I know Mary Quite Contrary loves the Oingo Boingo. And I'm not talking about the band either.
Hi-yo. Hi-yo. Did you hear about this? Yes. Is that weird?
Can I say that? Wacky, in the background?
Wacky stuff. That's a nice jacket, Doc. Looks like the Motel 6's missing curtains. Hey,
right. We got to get some.
No more John. No more Johnny. Okay. That's
all right. All right.
40
showing our age came in. Showing our age.
Yeah. No kidding. No kidding. Another one. Randomly. Freaks Come Out at Night by Houdini.
Who?
Houdini. Yes. Houdini. Now, fun fact. I don't have any fun facts about this song other than Run DMC appears in the video and it's fun to roller skate to. How about that?
I used to play that.
The Freaks Come Out at Night.
George, you played this one?
Yeah, I think it came out around 84. Houdini. Yeah, it was a
84,
great
1984. You are correct, sir.
There you go.
They do. Why are you making me big?
Because he said Run DMC appears in the video.
Right, they do.
What's good, fam? It's my DJ Jaybird costume. What are you talking about?
This would be a song on the dance floor. I do my signature John Cena.
Love it.
That's my only dance move. The Cena.
Follow K-Man on the Instagram. You'll see his moves.
Yes, they're lovely.
I do look like DJ Jaybird. Go ahead.
It's one word for that. All right. Coming up next, we would be remiss if we did not mention Ozzy Osbourne.
Love
and
it.
The Bark at the Moon album. So I'm going with Bark at the Moon, the song, which the video was Ozzy's first as ever. So he plays a mad scientist, transforms into a werewolf, and then he ends up committed into an institution. That's the video. So video's great.
Jake E. Lee on guitar.
Bark at the Moon, absolutely. We could play that whole song too, like Tell Him to Go.
I love Ozzy. I don't listen to him enough.
I agree. I would
Just-
bucket list to see that in concert.
Yeah, just yeah, Jakey Lee did get shot. I saw that, Mike. Ozzy Osbourne just inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame
That's
for the
right.
second time, but this time only as a solo performer, not with Black Sabbath as he was the first time. And if you haven't seen that, the band performance playing, what was it? Crazy Train's phenomenal. Wolfie Van Halen, Chad Smith from Peppers on drums. It's great. It's on the Hulu.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, he would be the second to be inducted in a band and as a solo artist.
Yeah.
Second to whom? My other wife, Stevie Nicks.
Stevie Nicks and of course Fleetwood Mac. Yes. Yeah, it's funny. Every time I see like Fleetwood Mac stuff, I think of you, and it bothers me.
Wow, that's
I love you're great. I love you. Don't get me wrong, but it bothers me when I see Fleetwood Mac. I think
my other wife, which my actual wife is okay with, and shout out to my lovely wife, Mrs. Gabby K, whose birthday was on Saturday. We celebrated, and we're celebrating all month Scorpio season.
Right on.
But she's okay with me seeing Stevie Nicks on the side. That was an understanding when we got married.
Part of your vows and everything.
It was signed on the paper. Yeah.
It was. I have the document. So
okay.
All right, and one more because I'm keeping this segment short because it's it's my birthday, and I believe you led the show with this fantastic song. Every Day is Halloween, Ministry, 1985. Originally a B-side, but my fun fact, played a lot on CFNY in Toronto back in the day by Chris Shepherd during Club 102's live to air on Saturday nights.
Crazy.
Great song. Glad you led with it.
Yeah, that's a great song right there. It's a good one to go out on top with. I love it.
So
all right.
Are there others we could have named? Sure, we could have Alice Cooper. We could have like a whole bunch of others. But those
Smiths. How soon is now? You
missed that one. I know. I was.
You had it on the list. The Smiths.
Oh, I missed it on the list. Okay. Well, there was one. Yeah, there was one. How soon is now? You know what?
Great one.
Not a Halloween. Just creepy sounding by the Smiths, 1984. How about that?
That's a good one.
I'm playing it now.
Play it now. Another good one. But actually,
isn't this in a
the fun fact? The fun fact that I mentioned in the sheets. The first Labatt Ice commercial in the 80s featured this song, and the spokesperson was Die Hard's Alexander Goodenough, who played, of course, the second in command, Hans Gruber's second in command, who was killed at the end of Die Hard by the dad from Family Matters. So if that's not a fun fact, I don't know what is. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Mr. K, man. Thank you to you. Thank you to Miss
loved it.
Abby K, letting you come on and do this. And happy birthday to everybody involved, and love the Hall and Box of Oats costume. I hope you get great use out of that box. Pause. And hope you have a wonderful Halloween. And all the best to you and the other half, and everybody. Once again, the man delivers like the postman.
Give it up for having me, and I apologize to everybody who had to sit through that. Thank you.
There he is. Cheers. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Get some sleep. There he goes, the K-Man. Listen, we've had a pretty eventful show, so here's what we're going to do now. We got 22 people in the chat. We're going to
22. I see 25 on our.
Okay, even still, we got 25 people in the chat. So here's what we're going to do. George is going to show us his backside. Mike Harding and Bod are not allowed to play this week because they've won pretty much the last 3 weeks, give or take. So Bod is already aware of this. Mike Harding is not aware until I just brought it up. So we're going to give everyone else a chance to win a $25
and give them a chance, Mike. Don't jump on with the answer.
Yeah, don't be.
I have a feeling Mike is going to know this answer right away too.
I have a feeling he's going to know it too. But don't say it if you know it, Mike. Please, if you don't mind. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it is time that I figure out what the hell I'm doing, and it's time for George to show us his backside. Everybody.
I feel like the song should want a little bit more for that one, Staples. I don't know.
I know. We should have let it go further. I needed more time to change my hat. Sorry. Anyway.
All right. It might be dead easy, which it probably is, or it might be. It just depends how you look at it, right? It's a live album from 1989.
Ooh. Live from 1989. Mike Harding, do not say a word if you have any idea. And don't even, I mean, you could shout him out, but if you know the answer, just don't do it. Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
Yeah.
All right. Live from 1989.
Yep.
89. Let's take us back to 89. So if it's live, I always like to think that live is, well, I don't want to see because I know, so I don't want to give away. Any questions from the chat, first of all?
By the way, Harding did put in a guess, so let's just make sure that this works. No, that ain't it.
That works, but it's wrong.
There you go. There you go. There it is. Oh, look at that. I didn't know I could do that. All right. So it's not Ozzy Osbourne. So folks in the chat, ask questions. Ask some questions. Get yourself a $25.
See how we didn't think about this?
What?
How we didn't say Mike Harding's not allowed to guess, which means
no guesses.
He's that guy. He's that guy. Don't mind me.
It's a group, but Guy, I kind of mind you. I need you back over here because we have a situation going on.
What?
In the chat.
What's the question? What? I'm just chilling buds there, Ozzy. Lucky Lashes. What? Is it a person or a group? Oh, shit. Look at that. Okay.
Look at this, though, now.
Sorry, guy. I was put on my regular glasses. Had to change my glasses. So Lucky Lashes is guessing if it is Rush. Is it, in fact, Rush?
Survey says.
Oh, wait. Yeah, it is Rush. Hold on. Let's give her this lady instead. How does Lexi have the balls to say what is Rush?
That's pretty good.
Mom. Oh, her brother had it. All right.
Oh, there you go.
That's very nice. That's very quick. Sorry, Dan.
Yeah.
Look at that. All right.
I did. I'm not really a fan of Rush. You know, I like one or two. But,
yeah.
Of course, they're from Toronto and all that.
Of course.
But back in like the early 2000s, there was a Rush convention in Toronto where people came from all over.
Yeah.
And I did a cruise for them. I played the music for a cruise. And
very nice.
It was like a Sunday afternoon, and then in the evening they're all going to the convention center.
Yeah.
And every song was Rush for the whole 4 hours.
Yeah, after a while it can be a little bit much.
But it's easy to play, right? It was actually an education, you know, when you're playing all these tracks.
Yeah.
It was a Sunday afternoon, laid back, you know, it's no pressure and just bang on track. You just brought in a bunch of CDs, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Lucky Lashes, congratulations. You get yourself a $25 Amazon gift card. Send me a message on the Instagram with your email address so I can send it to you. So congratulations to you.
Lexi's very offended that you didn't think she didn't know.
I don't know. She goes, "What's Rush?"
Because she was answering like a Jeopardy question to make it fun.
Oh,
right.
To make it fun.
Yeah,
she's saying to make it fun because, as far as she's concerned, it wasn't fun before.
Right. Apparently, we're not fun.
Right. We're not fun. Like funny how? Like we're like how would we amuse you? Like
amuse you? My joke.
What the heck makes us so fun? I'm trying to
tell me what the fuck makes me so.
Yeah. We need another vinyl cover. Well, not today. Not today.
You know what? I want to put George on the spot. Not for a prize. But let's do one more. How quickly can you pull an album out and just let's see if anybody can guess it. The good thing here is Staples and I can also look at this and we can we can kind of
I'm not sure if we could do that because I have to like check the back, you know.
Right, you always gotta look.
But we're giving you time right now. Go take a look and see if there's something in the back that doesn't
obscure, then hang on, give me a few minutes.
Get a pad of sticky notes of post-it notes ready to
just try and grab something.
Yeah.
Right, if
Yeah.
I can. All right.
And in the meantime, we'll have like a musical interlude while he's doing it. How about that?
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to actually talk about live as you do that. Go ahead, George. Go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead. So speaking of live, I will actually say, so I went to go
You're going
see.
to take me off camera so you don't see my actual backside.
Oh, okay. All right. There we go.
There we go. So I actually went to go see, speaking of live, I went to go see the movie for Tears for Fears live, which it was only
There's a
playing. I think it
movie?
was, yeah, it was just a 2-day event kind of thing that it was playing because they just released, from what I understand, they just released a new album, Tears for Fears.
Oh, great.
So I'm gonna kind of spoil a little bit. At the end of it, they did play about 4 tracks from their new album during the concert as well. They played a few tracks. I don't know how I feel. I'm gonna put it that way. I don't know how I feel about.
I'd say you
the
feel
new
pretty
album.
mushy. Oh.
The new album, because the songs that they played, they showed it on the big screen, but they had the lyrics on the bottom. So when you're reading, anybody ever notice this? If you're reading lyrics to a song as the song is playing, the song hits different. It feels different. It's not the
It does.
same. I've done it so many times where I'm listening to a song, I'm like, oh, I love this song. I love the song. What exactly did they say there? So then you pull it up, like, let's say on Spotify or something, and then you pull up the
Right.
lyrics to see what it is. And then you start reading it, and it just reads different.
Whole
It
different
feels
meaning.
Whole different meaning.
Case in point, the Tragically Hip documentary on the Amazon, because they talks about certain songs and where the idea of songs came from. And then you're like, oh my God, he's talking about a 3-year-old kid that died of congenital heart failure. That's depressing. So now when I hear that song,
that's what you
Fiddler's
think.
Green,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, I think about his nephew. Yeah.
Yeah. See, so
Let's
it's
bring
things like
George
that.
back.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So
Well, I didn't
so
know. I didn't know.
Yeah, but I did see that concert. It was pretty good though. It was a really good concert. Nice to see them do their thing live still. And
Yeah.
yeah. If anybody has a
Well,
chance
that
to see
tape
it,
was pretty quick, eh?
Yeah, it was pretty good, George. You did that too sweet, as they say in Canada.
Yeah,
on the
that's
spot,
France.
Georgie boy, put you on the spot.
We'll say.
All right, let's
All right,
do it.
Can't wait till after the show, George. Don't ever.
All right,
do
and I've
that
got no
again.
post-its on it, stickies, anything like that. But bear in mind what the last band was, so we're kind of in the same field, if you know what I mean.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
I know it. I think I know it.
Really?
Yeah. Is it Violent Femmes?
Is it Violent Femmes? No, it's not.
Are you going to do the sounds, guy?
Nah, are we going to do sounds?
Yeah, we're going to do sounds. I'll do sounds.
Yes, and do the sounds. All right.
Yeah, there we go. How come it didn't play?
Good.
There we go.
Everyone's hitting the same buttons.
Yeah, I got the sounds. You get the guesses in the chat.
Oh, I got to get. Okay, I'll get the guesses in chat. Okay.
Yeah. So they want a hint.
Okay, hint. American or English band?
English band. Started off late 60s.
Ooh.
Finished maybe.
I got buzzed.
Maybe very early 80s.
Did they have a top 10 hit in the 80s?
I'm not sure. Not really a top 10 hit, probably in the US, because they didn't release their singles or tracks as singles in the UK. I'd say they broke up around 83 or something like that.
They broke up 83. I was going to ask that. I was going to say, when are they still together or anything? And when did they start?
About late 60s, 68. First album was 60, very late 68. And then continued.
Floyd?
Like,
I was going to say, is it Pink Floyd?
That's a good guess. Pretty good. But they obviously there was a lead singer. He continued with a solo career. Still does a little bit. The main guitarist, he did a lot.
So it's not Pink Floyd. K-Man says K-Man says he knows it.
And I'm close. My guess is close.
Close to Pink Floyd.
Huh.
It's kind of, you know.
Were they members of Band Aid?
No, they weren't at Band Aid. No.
Okay. All right.
They kind of, I would say, encapsulate the whole genre.
Are they a progressive rock band?
They're a rock band, not necessarily progressive, but you know.
Okay. Along the lines of Pink Floyd.
About as big. About as big.
As big as Pink Floyd?
I would think so. They would be up there, yeah. I mean,
Is
they weren't doing a song, but at the time, you know.
How many members? Can I ask? Should I guess how many members are in the band, or should I?
There were
Four
four. There were four.
Was it the Who?
It's not the Who.
No. I'll give you
But again, you're kind of in the
English 70s rock band.
Yeah.
Started in the 60s, 70s.
Close.
Led Zeppelin. KK Bush is guessing in the chat.
Is it Led Zeppelin?
Hold on, I got to go over to. Hold up, George. I have to go over to the video. Damn it, I'm not ready. Where is she? All right, is it Led Zeppelin?
It is Led Zeppelin.
Wowzers. Oh, okay. Huh, you're right. We were
There we go.
They're not even on the sleeve
They're
anyway.
not even in it. Yeah.
Not
yeah,
even
yeah.
in there. Wow.
Yeah. It's the Presence album.
Very cool. Good guess there, KK Bush.
Yeah.
Did you know that, or did you just figure because of the clues and the hints that were being given?
Yeah, that
looked
was
familiar. Real McShady says knew it looked familiar. That is an interesting album cover. It's just three kids. It's like a Rockwell painting almost. Yeah, just thinking of English rock. Yeah, you can't go wrong.
It's like two kids with the parents on the front.
Yeah, which we all know is bullshit. That doesn't happen in today's modern family.
No.
Sorry,
I don't know
I'm
what
fine.
I'm not sure what that teacher's doing there, but you know, I think it's a teacher's a blackboard in the background.
Checking for back then they were checking for lice.
Maybe she's darning the socks by like she's Eleanor Rigby or something.
Yeah.
Is that a sock? Is that what wait, what's going on there? I'm trying to
Anytime there's a teacher giving a boy a sock, you got to be curious. Wonder. Oh, Real McShady, his dad had a lot of vinyl of Zeppelin. That's cool. All right. Yeah, what is she doing in that photo?
Is that her right hand is on his head?
She's like, young Bobby, this is the sock that I told you about. Use this behind closed doors privately.
Oh.
Or maybe she's making him bob his head. What's going on? You dumb. Yeah, I don't know what's going on in that cover.
I'm sticking with checking for lice. That's my.
Yeah, maybe. But we can dump the lice in a sock?
Maybe. That's where, like pick it out, put it in the sock. Pick it out, put it in the sock.
Sock will turn into a dinner plate real quick. Let me pick up the soap. That's not a plate. I'm just going to put that in the dishwasher.
Shout out to Joe Coy.
Joseph, stop bucking them.
Stop bucking your socks, Joseph.
Stop bucking your socks, Joseph. So great.
No life.
That was a good, very nice KK Bush. Good for you.
Yeah, that's a great guess. Yeah.
All right. We'll have to do it all again for a gift card next Monday. We gotta, so next Monday, and thank you, George. Thank you for your patience, George. And thanks for K-Man for your patience. We had Baba Khan on it, obviously, and he was phenomenal.
I was listening.
He was so much fun. And
so I didn't want to interrupt.
No, it's all good. Like, whatever. It is what it is. He's fantastic. We went a little longer than we normally do, but when it's somebody like Baba Khan, you do that. You just go with the flow and have a good time. And I think he had a good time hanging out with us. Mm-hmm. And we'll definitely try and get him back on the show again. Next week, yeah, I love him too, KK Bush. Love that guy. Next week, what's the date next week?
November.
I gotta look at my
November 4th, guy.
Okay, so next week, November 4th. What the hell is this going on here? Next week, November 4th, I believe we have none other than Rick Campanelli joining us. And with Rick joining us next week, hopefully Simone will be able to be back next week. Next week's show, yes, Rick the Temp, Real McShady.
Rick's he's on a cruise right now.
He's not a temp anymore, but he's the man. He was on a cruise. Yeah, they're back. Real quick note, next week's show, it's a new thing. It's not a replay. He's not even being a guest for an interview per se. He's going to hang out in the panel with us, and just whatever we talk about, he's going to hopefully follow our lead and talk about. And he's a professional, so he's going to be great.
Good. We get to learn tips from him.
That's right. So Dan and I will actually have to probably speak during the week and come up with good ideas, because I think it'll be nice to have Rick here for George's backside.
By the way,
be a lot of fun.
For those who don't understand, that's his way of telling me, Dan, I need to talk to you this week before we do the show, so make sure you're friggin' available.
Because we don't talk during the week. Dan and I literally talk in Instagram memes, messages sent back and forth, or 10 minutes, not even. When I hit the live button and I play a music video, that's when, and I'm not bitching about it, honest to God, because you show up every time. I can't bust your balls.
We should give away a gift card for people who are going to guess what time did I show up on screen.
Yeah.
Not on screen, but in the in StreamYard in the chat. Anybody any guesses today? What time did the show start?
Yeah. Dan literally jumps in when I hit the go live button and I'm playing the intros. So
today it literally was that.
Love what you talk more during the week, just texting about whatever more than Dan and I. It's true. 901, Lexi, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But you say this about Dan, I bust his balls. Shows up every time and he kills it every time. So there you go.
Except last week when I had something I couldn't.
Well, that was last week.
But I told you that. I said it was either going to be last week or this week that I couldn't do one of them, and it was last week so that I could be here for today.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. So we're good. So next week we got Rick Campanelli, Rick the Temp joining us. I wonder if he hates being Rick the Temp at this part of his career. Like he's not a temp anymore.
Write it down. We're gonna ask him.
Let's talk about it. But no, dude, let's you and I figure. Just even if we'll figure stuff out to do when he's here. We'll plan accordingly. George will show another backside next week, but we're going to start at 8:00 next Monday. 8:00. Tell your friends, wake your neighbors, wake your kids. 8 p.m. next week. Hide your friends, hide your wife. 8 p.m. next Monday, and back at the show after his trip from Asia, Captain Jack Tastic is going to be back next week, so we might have a nice full crew. Rick will be here. Captain's back. Hopefully Simone can join us. I know she's very busy, but we'll see. It's going to be another fun show next week. Today was fun. It was a good time having Baba Khan. George, your backside was wonderful. Mm-hmm. And, of course, both of your backsides, yeah. Where's Bluebies when you need them? Yeah, Cap's back, and K-Man, of course.
Did his backside like cheek to cheek kind of thing.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
So, Sarah, let's. I wanted to rate out to John Breaks Bad News because he was on before, but I don't think he's on anymore. If not, let's go over to our boy Casanova as always. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thanks to everybody in the chat. Lucky Lashes, message me your email so I can send you the thing, the gift card virtually. I know where Bluebies is. Where's Bluebies, real McShady? Where is she? Thanks to everybody that was here. We had a good crowd. Shout out to all the boys that were here before for Bubba Khan. We got to get Celebrity Drew on here. Tell your friends. This is the best show you're going to see on Twitch. I don't care. It's better than anybody else. It's entertaining. We're funny. We dress up in costumes. George shows his backside. Dan sits in a fake studio. K-Man comes on and does his shit. We have amazing guests. We play great music and whatever. We're loving.
And we have the lovely Simone Denny.
Dude, we got a superstar, a Juno Award winner.
She's such a great person.
Yeah. And we got Dan. We got a new closing credits video to play at the end of the show.
It's the very definition of quality.
Oh yeah, look at that. We all talking about quality.
But I'll tell you what, guys. I'm only going to have a domestic after this, so I'll see you next week.
Next week, 8:00.
No domestic.
Yeah, I've been in on your domestics.
No, we're good. I can't stay on. I got to get up and take my kid to school. But next week, 8 p.m. starts. Please let people know how great our show is. George, thank you for everything.
No problem.
We're going to read over to Casanova.
Don't forget on Thursday.
8 p.m.
Don't forget Thursday. Have yourself a happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, all. Stay for the closing credits in the raid. If you don't stay on the channel that we rate you, at that point, that's up to you. But let him know who sent you. He's a good dude. Casanova's the man. And we'll see you next week, Monday, with Rick the Temp, 8 p.m. Don't forget.
8 p.m. Mark it in your calendars. New time, 8 p.m.
Follow my Instagram if you don't. DJSTAPLES93 on the Instagram. I'll have a flyer as well. All right. I like this. All right, guys. Next week, here we go. Thank you, George.
I work from 9 to 5. Hey, hell, I pay the price. All I want is to be left alone in my Africa.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.